Part 2 of The Law of Yahweh. Why? By the Honorable Yud-Heh-Wav-Heh, Beit Nun Sophie Yud-Heh-Wav-Heh, Yahweh Ben Yahweh.
Yes, we're not just talking about an ordinary man. I'm talking about a man that has come to a people that have been immoral, a man that has come to a people that the whole world have rejected, a man that has come to a people that were on the bottom of civilization. I'm talking about a man that has come to a people that were despised and rejected of men. But he alone came all by himself. He took on the challenge all by himself. And he came along to you and I. And he is raising us high above all nations on the planet Earth. And those of us that are now dressed in white are now a testimony to the world, that the world knows that Yahweh Ben Yahweh, the Son of Man, the one and only God, our gift, our Savior, our Redeemer, our Reformer, Yahweh Ben Yahweh has come. Blessed be the King that cometh over Lord Yahweh.
Hallelujah, Yahweh. Zak Ve'ima. Baruch Hashem, Yahweh. How do we love Yahweh?
With all our mind, with all our heart, with all our soul, and with all our body.
And how do we love our brothers and sisters?
With all our mind, with all our heart, with all our soul, and with all our body.
Praise Yahweh.
Praise Yahweh.
What is our motto?
Our motto is one God, one mind, one love, and one action.
We're all for one.
And one for all.
And do we want for our brothers and sisters?
What we want for ourselves.
What about soup?
If I have a bowl of soup, you may have half my bowl of soup.
And anything else?
And anything else.
Praise Yahweh.
Praise Yahweh.
What time is it? What makes up a nation?
Family.
What makes up families?
Husband, wife, and children.
And if either are weak?
What nation is weak?
Praise Yahweh.
Praise Yahweh.
What is the duty of a Hebrew man?
To lead in righteousness.
What is the duty of a Hebrew woman?
To follow in righteousness.
And if either turns from the law? Praise Yahweh.
Praise Yahweh.
Hallelujah, Yahweh. Zak Ve'ima. Who's the God of gods? Who's the King of all kings? Who's the Lord of all lords? Who is our president? Who's our governor? Who's our mayor? Who's our leader? And who do we follow? And let everything that has breath. Hallelujah, Yahweh. What color is the Creator, Yahweh? What color are all his prophets? How many tribes of Israel are there? What's the name of the fourth tribe? What did Yahweh choose Judah to do? How long? And how long is forever? Well, who is Judah? What did Yahweh choose you to do? How long? Yahweh chose who? Yahweh chose who? If you don't know that, praise Yahweh. What color is Judah? What did Yahweh choose black Judah to do? How long? And who is Judah? And what did Yahweh choose you to do? How long? How long is forever? Yahweh chose who? Yahweh chose who? If you don't believe that, praise Yahweh. It is a blessing to know who Yahweh is. It's even a greater blessing to know Yahweh belongs to you, and you belong to Yahweh. not give you Yahweh, then the world can't take him away.
The Law of Yahweh. Why? Part 2.
That's why I wrote a record before my coming, that I keep at my coming, that I did not come to destroy the law or the prophet. Matthew 5:17. This is my record. This whole book is about me, from Matthew, from Genesis to Revelation. Matthew 5:17. Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. This is all about me, Yahweh Ben Yahweh, the Son of Yahweh. This is not about a man 1900 years ago. This is about me today, right now. So the law still stands. And anybody who says it doesn't is an enemy to Yahweh. He's anti-Christ. For the man written here as the Christ said he didn't come to destroy the law. And he didn't come to destroy the prophets. Then how can somebody come and preach at his supposed death or ascension that the law does not count? How can you say that when the man written in the book as the Son kept the Sabbath? Luke 4:16. He kept it. You have to quit lying on how you going to not keep it when he kept it. He said he didn't come to destroy it, so he kept it. And he never did not keep it. He always kept it. Read.
And he came to Nazareth, where he had been brought up. And as his custom was, he went into the synagogue on the Sabbath day and stood up for to read.
Here is a man declared as the Son entering the synagogue as his custom, his normal affair, what he did every Sabbath. And he was a reader of the law, a keeper of the law. Now how can you claim to be a disciple of Christ and don't keep the law? When he kept it as an example and said he didn't come to destroy it. Then those who teach, saying they're teaching of him and about him, not to keep it, has to be his enemy and has to be anti-Christ. So any preacher in any church that teach against the Sabbath and change the Sabbath day is the enemy. And that includes the Catholic Church, because they changed the Sabbath and then named it Sunday. The Council of Nicene. Traces right back, history traces right on back to the Pope that changed it. He had to be an enemy, a liar, deceive us. So if you follow Christianity, you follow deception all the way down the line, because anything that starts false got to end up false. If the foundation is wrong, then everything built on it is wrong. Got to give it up. You got to give it up. If the master kept the Sabbath, who are you to come along and say, don't keep it? Sin is breaking the law. John 3:4. You notice I let the book do the talking, don't you? I'm excited, but I'm letting the word talk to you. I'm fired up, but I let the word talk to you. John chapter 3, verse 4. Read.
Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law, for sin is the transgression of the law.
And the law of Yahweh is keep the Sabbath. And the Sabbath is not Saturday. The Sabbath is the seventh day. And the way you know to keep the Sabbath is by solar time. And if you don't know solar time, you don't know the Sabbath. I know solar time. I created the sun. And I know when I set this civilization in motion 6,000 years ago. And I have the exact date. So this year, the Sabbath is Wednesday. Next year is Thursday. The year following is Friday. The year following is Saturday. And it's a perfect cycle of 7. And I can prove it mathematically. Because what you call the calendar is not of Yahweh. Neither do the Jews keep the correct calendar because they keep the moon. They keep the lunar calendar. And Yahweh did not set the moon as the timepiece. Yahweh set the sun. Me, I am the sun. He set the sun as the timepiece. And I'll show it to you in the book. Praise Yahweh. Let's go to Genesis chapter 1, verse 16. See what the ruler of the day is, not the moon. Oh, glory. See, the people sitting in darkness don't know this. Genesis 1. This is from the beginning. So the rest of you have to shut up. All you Johnny-come-latelys, burn up your calendars because they are no good. This is not 1987. That's why you don't know what time it is. You think it's 1987. You'll never know when God is coming back. That's why you never know when the sun is coming, because you don't know what time it is. And Yahweh said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heavens to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and for years. Now, which light did he make ruler by day? I read Genesis 1:14 if you didn't know where I was. For you who didn't know what I was reading, that was verse 14. Now, verse 16. And Yahweh made 2 great lights, the greater light to rule the day and the lesser light to rule the night. The moon is a reflection of the sun, so it's a lesser light. Yahweh is not stupid enough to make something that is lesser ruler over that which is greater. Although Yahweh let Satan rule over us, it's not that he's stupid. Satan is lesser. He's a negative. Satan got rulership when he asked Yahweh, why do you protect Job? That's you. You got a hedge around him. Let me have him and I'll change him. So now we see, back to the point of the calendar, you see that the sun is the ruler. So you cannot come along and make a lunar calendar be correct. Imagine you got to wait till there's a full moon and you don't know when it's going to be to come up with the Sabbath. Isn't that stupid? And the enemy of God say you change time at midnight. Now how can you change time at midnight and be right? It's impossible. You have to come up with a timepiece based on something else. In order to determine the midnight hour, then you have to come up with a timepiece giving you the midnight hour based on what? The sun. So the enemy, to keep you in darkness, he changed time.
Daniel 7:25.
Yahweh said the time is from sundown, to sundown. Let's go back to Genesis 1:5 to know how a day is determined. Read.
And Yahweh called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day.
So the day begins at evening, at sundown. That's when it begins. So at 12 o'clock midnight, somebody lied to you when they said time changed. At 12 a.m. is now in the morning. You are a lie. That's Yahweh said it's evening. You wicked dogs changed it. The wicked devil, serpent, enemy. And what have you been doing? You read your Bible and see what God said. A day is, and you turn around and tell me it's 12 midnight, the time change. According to who? Why do you go with the enemy of God when God tells you right here clearly in your book what it is? So I'm giving you evidence that you have to check out what I'm telling you when I say solar time. And the Sabbath is not on Saturday. This is proof it can't be. Because the man you've been listening to has been lying to you. He just changed it. Just set himself up and wrote it in books and changed it. Oh, glory. Oh, hallelujah, Yahweh. We're talking about the law of Yahweh. He doesn't change either. Now, let's go back to my people being called proverbs and bywords. It's so easy to get off into all this science, and there's so much wisdom that I have to teach. You might forget where I was going, but I'm dealing with these niggas walking in darkness. They're saying they are niggas. See, I didn't name you that. I said you are not a nigger. But I'm dealing with the people who call each other nigger. I'm running around writing books saying, but you're not a nigger. Well, nigger? You black nappy head nigger, get out my face, nigger, for I... And I'm running around saying, please, brothers, wait a minute. You are not a nigger. This nigga just told me I was not a nigger. We fixing to fight. In this run, I have a job, don't I? I have a job trying to convince people who are convinced that they are nigger that they're not. Now, if you want to see a job, if you find somebody convinced they're a nigger and you try to show him he's not one, you talk about fight. Then they want to fight a white man for calling him a nigger. And he called all his kids. This is big nigga, this is little nigga, this is nigga junior. All you little niggas, come here. How many have heard people talk like that? I have all my life. And I have the job to teach a people who do this, you are not a nigger. And they don't like me for telling them that. Isn't that something? I have a rough job. So here's a group of people who call themselves niggas, and they are not, and don't know who they are. Isaiah, we're back now to 1 Kings. 1 Kings, chapter 9, verse 5. What happened to us in America? What happened to us? Big question. Then I will establish the throne of thy kingdom upon Israel forever, as I promised to David thy father, saying, there shall not fail thee a man upon the throne of Israel. Well, it looked like there wasn't one to sit on the throne of Israel. But here I am, sitting on the throne of Israel. You cannot elect me to sit on the throne. Yahweh chose me to sit on the throne. He chose me before all my brethren to sit on the throne of Israel. And I'm sitting on it. And I am raising up those who acknowledge and accept that reality. Because if you don't accept it, you don't matter anyway. You can't vote or do nothing else about it. See, you're out of it anyway if you don't accept it. But all of us who accept the fact that we are Israel, you just have to accept the fact that I am the king of Israel. Can't change it. But, although I have done this, if you shall at all turn from following me, you are your children, and will not keep my commandments and my statutes which I have set before you, but go and serve other gods and worship them, then will I cut off Israel out of the land which I have given them. Have the so-called black people of America been cut off? Cut off from their own land? So cut off, don't know where it is. So cut off, didn't know they had one. They thought they were Americans. I'm American now. You American what? I'm American colored. You want to pretend that you're not colored, right? I have pictures proving that you were colored. Colored restroom, colored restaurant, colored hotel, colored water fountain, colored. Freedom rides against being colored. What's your nationality? I'm colored. Then something happened. You woke up one day, somebody raised the question, say, colored. Well, where? Say, man, every nation got something they can identify themselves with. The man said his name is Kaufman. So what kind of name is that? It's German. Well, where are you from? Germany. What's your language? German. What do you rule? Germany. Wing Wall. What kind of name is that? Chinese. Where you from? China. What do you speak? Chinese. What do you own? China. Pierre. What kind of name is that? French. Where you from? France. What kind of name is that? French. What do you speak? French. All that identifies nationality. Color. You speak color. You have a colored name. And where is colored land? So my people say, well, I must not be colored. You can't call me colored no more. I'm going to be a Negro from now on. Well, what is Negro? Well, they told me Negro is negra in Spanish. Yeah? Well, I'm Negro. What is it in Latin? It was necros. Necros. The K was substituted, the G was substituted for the K. Well, what does necros mean? It means something dead. So when you were a Negro, Negros, you were a dead people by name. Do you speak Negro? You have a Negro name. Where's Negro land? So well, in Spanish it means black. Well, I know what, I'm tired of being Negro now. I ain't gonna put on my nationality of Negro no more. I'm now black. What's your nationality? Black. Black. You have a black name? You speak Blackies? Where's black land? Oh, no. Well, you must not be black. Yeah, I'm tired of being black now. That don't make no sense either. I am, what are you now, nigga? Afro-American. What's your nationality? Afro-American. Well, where from Africa are you? I don't know whether I'm Kuta Kinte or not. So you're not Africa. That's not nationality either, is it? Well, no, I guess it ain't. Well, see, you still in the same trick you were from colored to Negro to black to Afro-American. You still don't know who you are. What's your nationality? Oh, don't make no. Wait a minute now. It makes difference to everybody else on earth. You're the only one on the bottom of everybody else. It must make a difference. Everybody else on earth know where they're from but you. Who does the land belong to? Indians. So suppose I decide to give the land back. Suppose God decided to give the land back to the Indian. Huh? Don't say God can't do that. How many know God can do anything? God can do anything. Suppose he decided to give it back to the Indian. And the Indian say, all of you go home. Where are you niggas going? Everybody in America know where to go. Really holler Mexico, I'm going to Mexico, Jack. Cuba, I'm going to Cuba. Even if I hate to laugh at a nigga, I'm going to the Bahamas, man. I'm not crazy as a nigga, you know what I mean? I'm going to Jamaica, Jack. Where are you niggas going? See, I'm raising a valid question. You are in a crisis. Praise Yahweh. And I'm here with the answer. The only answer. Nobody else has ever raised the question in your head not to think about giving you the answer. Praise Yahweh. Been serving other gods. So Yahweh said, if you do it, I'll cut you off from knowing who you are and where you're from. You won't know your history, your culture, your name, your language, your dance, nothing. Yahweh, Yahweh, Yahweh. See, Yahweh is the answer to your individual problem, no matter who you are and what kind of individual you are either. He's still the answer. In the meantime, he said, I will cut off Israel out of the land which I have given them. So the only people cut off from a land and don't know where it is and the name of it is the people in America who call themselves niggers. That means they've forgotten that they're Israel. Psalms 83. Let's see if we can find out a little more here. Psalms chapter 83, verses 1 through 5. Read.
Keep not thou silence, O Yahweh, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Yahweh, for lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, Come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
There it is. Here it is again. Israel cut off. Can't remember that they're Israel. Fulfilling 1 Kings, back to it, chapter 9. Fulfilling, you cut off, don't remember, don't know that you're Israel. Hallelujah, Yahweh. Now, in verse 7, I will cut you off out of the land, in this house which I have hallowed for my name. Israel is called the house, made holy for my name. And you so cut off that you have not known my name. And I will cast you out of my sight, and Israel shall be a proverb and a byword among all people. Now, the only people that fit the description of a proverb and a byword. What is a proverb and a byword? Nicknames. Huh? The only people that have nicknames like nigger, colored, Negroes, blacks, coons, jigs, spades, splibs, members, shoes. Is the so-called blacks of America. Us. Our people are the only ones who fit the description. And all nations of the earth have called us niggers. I don't care where they're from, they fulfill this scripture right here. We are the only people among all the people of the earth fulfilling this word right here. And at this house, which is high, so we used to be high, because righteousness exalts a nation, we used to be high. Why are we low? Because we don't practice righteousness as a people, we practice wicked. Our ways are evil. Our ways are hatred for one another. We kill each other. We use drugs. Get drunk, beat up our wives, half kill our children, don't take care of our families, don't have the knowledge to properly educate our families. So we pass on misinformation, fulfilling this word to the letter. We used to be high when we practiced righteousness. We were exalted. But now we're the bottom of all people on the earth. Why? Because we practice the ways of Satan. Immorality. We're dishonest people, a bunch of liars. Unjust. We look to take advantage of someone else. So when white people do it, the white people must not be God. They must not be God. Because what kind of life are they promoting? Pornography? Gay rights? Faggots? Punks and sissies? Here's a man with a beard like mine switching like a woman. And they protect him to produce AIDS around the country? You got it, I'm against faggots. I'm against the practice of homosexuality. Right, so is God. How many love me telling the truth, straight, honest, like it is, clear? There's no other way to do it. Tell the truth. And in this house, Israel, Everyone that passes by it shall be astonished at you, and they shall hiss and whisper, what's wrong? What's wrong with niggas? Why can't niggas cooperate together? Everybody can do something but niggas. Why you can't trust niggas? And the people shall say, why hath Yahweh done this to this land and to this house called Israel? And the people shall answer, because they forsook the Lord their God, Yahweh. They turned their back on their God, Yahweh. They refused to keep the laws of their God, Yahweh. This is why they're no longer high. They forsook the Lord their God, Yahweh, who brought forth their fathers out of the land of Egypt. See, this proves again that the children of Israel in Egypt did not suffer slavery or suffer what we're suffering here today. For this is speaking of a house brought very low after Egypt. This is showing you that there's a people who will become a proverb and a byword after the deliverance from Egypt. This is a people who will be called by a nickname, cut off out of their own land after Egypt. Now, go in history and show me a nation of people cut off from their own land since Moses, that spent 400 years as prophesied. Only the blacks of America. Period. This proves my case that you are Israel, and proves how you got to be so low. Now the question is, are you tired of being low? Are you tired of being on the bottom of civilization? Are you ready to return to your rulership state? Now, Yahweh raised me up from among you in this country, 50 million strong, to show you and to prove to you that when you return to Yahweh and keep his laws, he will bless you. See, the blessings of Yahweh, when you keep his laws, will make you rich. Proverbs 10:22. Proverbs chapter 10, verse 22. You cannot be of Yahweh and be in a curse unless you're not keeping his laws. Read.
The blessing of the Lord Yahweh, it maketh rich, and he addeth no sorrow with it.
No sorrow. Now you have to admit that I am making my disciples rich. I'm making you so rich that even the white papers are writing about it. I have now bought you 5 hotels in Miami alone. Nobody's ever done that before. Praise Yahweh. And I'm letting you know who's responsible. Yahweh. I put my Father's name on everything. We have tractors and trailers. All of our tractors and trailers, Yahweh. I have a fleet of tractors and trailers, a fleet of buses, Yahweh. His name is on it. Huh? I now have grocery stores in 11 cities, a chain of grocery stores. I opened up a chain of grocery stores in 1 month across America. Nobody's ever done this of any color. Praise Yahweh. And every one of them says, Yahweh Groceries. We have so many businesses, I can't name all this stuff. You take a tour in just Miami, and it's all day. If you better not stop and go through. It's an all-day affair. And when you see what I'm doing and what I'm providing for my people, I'm providing a $6,000 to $9,000 a month lifestyle for $500. Now, it has never entered the mind or the heart of anybody to do this in the ghetto, and they aren't about to do it. Even when they see me do it, they're not going to do it. They cannot afford to do it. I'm the only one who can afford it. Why can I afford it? Because I'm God. Ezekiel 39:7. If you want to see my works, come and schedule yourself for a tour. And you can see the wondrous works of Yahweh that my Father has put in my heart to do for you. In verse 7, so will I make my holy name known in the midst of my people, Israel. Why do I have to make my holy name known?
Because we don't know it.
Because my people don't know the Israel. How could they know my name?